What's up, family? Welcome back to another episode of the Sit Down Talk. My name is Kier.
And I'm Noemi.
And if this is your first time here, we welcome you. Clap it up for the people, huh? Look at you. We're getting a lot of new subscribers. We're getting a lot of new followers on our Instagram. And we love it, man. People from all across the world be reaching out to us, saying amazing things. We see everything, we hear everything. So sincerely from us to y'all, thank you.
Life is crazy.
Man, what? The world is crazy.
You know, we talked a lot about just topics, and a lot of them were serious, but I don't have it. I don't feel like it. I felt like I've been in a funk all week. I really wanted to do something fun, you know, just something, you know, just focusing on what we're all about. And right now it's all about love. Millennial love.
So a little background for those of y'all that don't know or haven't watched any of our sit down talks. Let me give you a little context, if you will. Noemi is I wouldn't say hopeless romantic.
I'm not hopeless,
but she's a notch above hopeless. Like, this is hopeless, and here's Noemi. Like,
I'm a little bit better than a hopeless romantic.
Yeah.
But I love.
She's such
I hate when people say that, but like, especially in our marriage and our relationship, because all of my exes wouldn't say that. It's just you. Like, you just make me like lovey-dovey.
Oh, I'm the one that got the lovey-dovey, no way.
Yeah.
Oh.
People say I was mean. I'm still a little mean.
No.
You don't have to lie. They see me.
Okay. It's funny to me though, because like the way I look at love, like, it's just different depending. See, look, you already, see, look, I am not a romantic, like, at all. I don't even like R&B songs that are about love.
It has to be a nasty song.
Gotta be nasty or I can't rock with it. That whole, like, storybook kind of fairy tale love thing, I know a lot of dudes that are into that, so I don't think that's a man-woman thing, but it just doesn't satisfy me. Like, I have zero interest in that, which I'm sure y'all can imagine has caused us to butt heads on many different occasions. I mean, I am who I am, and you is who you is. Yeah. So like,
I am who I am. That's funny. Oh. I thought Michelle Obama messaged me. She just made a post. You see how you can easily be confused? Look, I was about to shut this whole thing down. Be like, sorry.
No sit down.
No, not this week. Well, I'm still a peasant.
Because of us trying to figure out how to meet in the middle, we had to actually start instituting like date nights.
Yep.
Like, put them joints on the calendar and make sure that they happen. Was I the most anti-marriage guy you ever dated?
Yeah, you were.
Am I still one of the more anti-marriage guys that you know? Really? You think I'm more like a pro-marriage dude?
I think that you're not as anti-marriage because you're married. Like, I know anti-married dudes that like are old and still not married. And like, they're not gonna get married.
Nah, that's real.
I don't think you're as anti-marriage, but you're anti like you believe that the majority of people don't really understand what they're walking into when they do it.
Right.
So it's not so much your anti-institution of marriage, but you're like, I don't think people really understand what this means. Because if they did, they wouldn't be so willing to jump into it, like, all willy-nilly.
Yeah, I guess that's my issue. Yeah. That people, I don't feel like enough people grasp the big idea of the partnership side of the marriage.
It's hard to until you do. I'm still like in shock with like what marriage looks like versus what I thought it would look like. Yeah, even though I knew it would be different, I didn't know how it would be different,
or what that different looked like,
or what that looked like or felt like. I'm still like, shit, like, there's really no way to prepare for marriage. Like, it's not so much that it's just hard, it's just a lot. It's a lot of good, it's a lot of bad, it's a lot of happy, it's a lot of sad. It's just a lot of everything. And it's like, you don't know how to handle it because you've never been in something like this. And it's just like, oh shit, well, I mean, when we doing it, like, I hate myself, like, oh, who are you? But I'm doing it.
Like, we're getting on, like, this is it, like, all right, we're doing it. And next thing you know, you're on it. You're like, wait, what? Like, what is this? It's funny because if I would have guessed what the hardest thing about marriage would have been, like, a year before I got married, I would say it would be not fraternizing with other women. Yeah. I thought that would be the hardest part of marriage for me. I thought that'd be the hardest part. No. Like one of my frat brothers, we always joke with him, you know, that he a savage and all that. And he broke down one day, he's like, how much cheat? What time and energy do I have? And I was like, yeah, he's a full-time everything. Like, he's like, well, what energy? He's like, my marriage is 4 relationships already. And I was like, facts. That's how it feels though, because you gotta manage the relationship in so many aspects. Like it's the financial part, then it's the we gotta take care of us part, then it's the we gotta take care of the baby part, then it's the bills stuff, then it's the preparing for the future, then it's the addressing the past, then it's the like dog, like get off me. I feel like I'm being jumped by love, dog. Like help. Damn!
That is so accurate.
I hope that y'all don't see me as a pessimist, even though I am proudly a pessimist.
Is a pessimist.
So what? We need us in this world.
But don't be like, don't call me a pessimist if you was a pessimist.
No, you're right.
But that shit is real.
But
what you just said is real.
But it's real. It's real and it happens. And I think people hold on to the good feeling of, oh my God, like this lifetime companionship. This is what I've been waiting for. This is it.
Yeah.
And then when the reality hits you, you got to tell yourself stuff sometimes to make what's not okay.
Yeah.
Then you blink and you've been married for 8 years and you don't know that other person or yourself. This can be a black hole that you can spiral into, and I get annoyed always hearing that marriage is dope. Tell me how. Tell me the other side of it too.
It's when you figure that out. Because one thing I will say, on our social media following, we have a lot of older people that have been married for 20 to 50
Shout out
years.
to the OG married folk that follow
and they're
us.
Always giving advice.
Y'all be dropping Jamaroos.
And it's not even just advice. They're like, you know what? You guys are on the right track. That's what makes me believe in this institution. When OGs can come back and be like, you know what? I wish I knew that sooner, because I didn't figure that out until 20 years into my marriage.
Talk that talk, youngster.
That's where my belief in the institution of marriage comes from. Like I won't lie, I haven't really seen that many marriages that have worked. I don't know any marriage that has worked.
This is so really quickly, and I'm sorry to hop in here.
It's okay.
That's when marriage optimism frustrates me sometimes, because it's like, look at the evidence. We hold in such high regard the ones that work. Like, no, those are exceptional cases oftentimes. And we hold the exceptional case as the standard because that's what feels good to believe.
For sure.
That's not
You're right.
long-term sustainable.
It's not, but I think people just walk into it and like, when there's a certain investment in your love for that other person, you think that you can be the exception. Like, I genuinely believe that everyone who decides to get married is crazy, but crazy is not always bad. Like, I think it's a super optimistic, like, creative, ambitious thing to do. It's to say, like, I don't really know if this is gonna work, but I'm making this commitment today to really, really try, and every day from this day, I'm gonna try to uphold that commitment. I get it, and like I think everybody knows that we're all gonna die one day, and we want to live our lives trying to do. Yeah, we all gonna die. You too, baby. Hopefully not anytime soon. But what?
Damn, darkness.
I'm sorry. I was trying to get to my point. I don't know why you even said we gonna die. Like, I was trying to get to a serious point.
I'm sorry.
Like,
did we lose it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry.
Like, you trying to make it funny. I'm trying to get deep.
Nah, I'm sorry. You was in your bag too.
I know. I don't think that people are assuming that their marriage is gonna work. Like, that's where the optimism comes from. I think it's the hope. Like, hoping that you become the exception. And how amazing would you feel to hit the 25-year anniversary mark, the 50-year anniversary mark? Like,
that's
oh my God, I can't wait.
That's why I can see the romanticism part kind of taking over for people, and the practicality part kind of subsiding. Like, I can see where if you're more like romantic, you'll hang on to that for hope. But like, I can also see where you're more transactional, practical. You'll be like, that don't make sense. Like, the way I think about it is, for every, who was it, Britney Spears, who mama slept in the car so she could be famous? For every Britney Spears, there are tens of thousands of other people who slept in their car and nothing good ever came of that. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean, like making the exception like the norm. Like Britney Spears is not the norm. That happens to very few people. And I can see that if you're like a transactional whatever, like you think like me when it comes to love and relationships, how you can let that kind of keep you from the whole hope thing. So how do we make that work? Because I don't know what we give off here. Like, I can't see us the way that y'all see us.
I think you're so much more in love with me than you think.
Oh yeah, totally.
You come across as someone who is like so deeply in love with me.
But this is the thing though, like how do people know? Anybody can post a picture.
Yeah, I know, but it's just the way you look at me, the way you talk to me, the way that you pick up on things, the way that you adjust. And like, people don't see when we butt heads. They just see the product of our work. And from that perspective, from that perspective, it comes across as smooth because they don't see the bumps. They just see like, damn, look at how he leveled up, but they don't see what it took to get there, thank God. So I think from them, it's just like, damn, it's just so smooth, and it just seems like a real smooth elevator ride. And not like, you know, going through a jungle on the side of a mountain where the road isn't wide enough for 2 cars, and there's 2 cars coming, and it's like,
and one of your tires got a lump in it.
It's just it is so bumpy. It is.
It is.
Oh man, it's so crazy. And like, marriage to me is just the craziest thing.
This is a thing though. The unfair part of the marriage stuff. This ain't even what we came on here to talk about. But here we are.
Yeah.
There's no opportunity to even like prepare for, like, even get an idea of what's to come. Like, there's nothing anyone can tell you.
No.
It's like anyone out there who's had a baby, it's like that.
Yeah.
Anybody who's ever went through their freshman year of college, try explaining that to people who've never been to college before. It's like, I can't explain to you what you're about to go through, but it's about to be an entire process.
Yeah.
For me, I just don't understand always why people would choose this route. I felt like I was fortunate enough to find a person that matched in all the areas that made the most sense for me. I bet, like, this stuff I can't deal with, but everybody got their own crazy. I got my own, you got your own, you watching? You got your own crazy. We all do, you know what I'm saying? And for me, I guess it was a matter of whether or not I'm willing, you know,
my crazy was a deal breaker.
The devil you know is better than the devil you don't. It's not a deal breaker. It's not anything that I feel like I'll go out here and find. If the person has something, if she has something better in that one area, all the other things that make you amazing she'll lack. That's a terrible trade-off for some stuff that I can manage or that we could grow through over time. I don't understand that leap. And
that was so beautiful.
What?
Just what you said.
What?
I don't know, that just everything right now. That just touched me so deeply. No, just like you were basically just saying that, like, the qualities that were lackluster about me.
Chill, dog. Like, ain't nobody call you lackluster. I did not call her lackluster.
The qualities that were difficult to deal with weren't as impactful as the qualities that you did love about me. And it was kind of like that scale. And it was just like, and it's just like, that's good to know, because that's not a front. Like, it's basically saying like who I am outweighs the things you don't like about me.
But I've told you that before. I would never get married. Like, I would never.
He was so anti.
I would never get married. I would,
like,
but
so
her,
anti-marriage.
Yes, it makes sense. And I feel like it's hard to find somebody who you connect with on all the levels that matter. And they're also, they're wrapped in the body that you are actually attracted to. They're wrapped in the gender that you're actually attracted to. You know, if you're talking about spirits, we ain't gonna go deep. We about to go down the rabbit hole, but basically you feel what I'm saying. You know?
I feel the same exact way about you. The same exact way.
That's for real?
Oh my God, babe. Like,
you about to tell me what you love me?
I love you so much.
I can tell you.
And it pisses me off. Like, marry the person that you love so much. You're like, self, what the f***? Like, what are you doing? Marry that person, because I love him so much. But it's just like, oh.
Punch yourself in the stomach like you're stupid. You're stupid.
But I love him.
I get it, but you're stupid. Pause for the cause, because I want to stop for a second. I realize that a lot of people who watch our vlog are like people.
Keep talking about the refill.
Okay, are people who aren't married. And who are hoping to one day be married and hoping, you know, I read a lot of comments. I hope that one day God brings me the person that's meant for me, and just people who are really holding on to love. 2 things real quick. Number 1, I hope that my words don't discourage you from trying to find love. Please go out and date responsibly. Give your heart to people responsibly. Share your experience, and you know what I'm saying, create memories with dope people, whether y'all stay together or not. But you know, protect your heart, all that. Number 2, I don't remember.
Okay, let's start over. This isn't what we intended on talking about. What we wanted this video to be about is kind of like a response to probably like 2 of the most popular questions we get. Number 1, Kier, how did you know Noemi was the one?
Oh my God.
That's question number 1. And question number 2, Noemi, what was your list? What was your list?
Share that list, sis.
Share that list. And today, that's what we're gonna be talking about.
Wow.
I'm so excited about this topic.
She is. I am too. Look.
Every time we get questions, like especially like, how did you know Noemi was the one? I'd be like, babe, so how did you know I was?
I hate it so much.
I just love these stories because he'd be so mad at himself when he tells it. But I think it's the cutest thing in the world.
And then the room goes silent and everybody's just like,
with their smiles, like smiles on their faces, like, oh my God.
tell the story, bro.
Y'all are gonna hear the story, but it's just like, it's just moments in the past.
We'll see.
It's like so many scenarios where like our relationship leveled up, and I think it's beautiful. And I think the reason why I laugh so much is because like he says he's not romantic, but his life is like a romantic movie. Like you wouldn't narrate it in that way, but our relationship, there are so many like really romantic, like Notebook moments.
Give me 2.
When our first date. You know what? Not even our first date. When we met, when we were in the club.
Yeah, your face like you.
Listen, when we met
so
and we were in the club. Remember when we went to the second spot? And like you was looking back and I was looking at you and I pushed a little ottoman to the back.
Yeah, push the ottoman in.
That's the type of shit that happens in the movies. So basically, like I'm eyeing him like, sir, like I'm feeling you, like what's up? And like he'll glance every now and then. So I'm like, F it. There was an ottoman in between us, so I kicked it with my foot so it hit the back of his knee. And he looked back and I was like, hello?
Y'all ever notice? Y'all hear more of the story when we met every time?
Okay, fine.
It's gonna be 20 years down the road. We're gonna be on TV and she's still gonna be telling this story.
Because it's like, to me, it's like out of a movie. And you'll be like, I'm not romantic. I'm like, our whole relationship is like serendipity. Like,
I've never seen that.
oh my God.
I've never seen a Notebook either. No, I can't. I can't.
Okay, well, I'm planning the next date night.
Die.
So we decided that we're gonna do date night every other week, and whoever's time they'll decide. But it's my turn to plan.
I can't do it.
I hate him.
I can't watch the movies. Like,
we go through this all the time.
I can't do it. Those are terrible. I can't do it.
But The Notebook is a really good movie,
I can't do it, dog. I did the joint with Issa Rae and my man, the romantic movie. Issa Rae and what's my guy's name? Lakeith.
Lakeith.
I did that one.
But that was
dope.
That was a dope movie. That was
the
dope.
The soundtrack on that movie was nuts. Yeah.
I mean, anything Issa Rae touches. Issa.
Do
you watch us? Somebody send this to Issa. We love you, girl.
If y'all could blow Issa Rae up and ask her to follow us on Twitter, like, I'm not asking you to do it. I'm just saying if you did, like, I wouldn't be mad.
We wanted to talk about like how we kind of reached this point.
I need pillow for my back. I'm so sorry.
There's one right there.
Where?
Right here.
Oh, praise God.
Kier Gaines, when did you know that Noemi was the one? Come on.
You gotta phrase it in a way that's not whimsical, romantic, Cinderella.
Okay, I got you. When was the moment that you were like talking to yourself in the mirror like, son, why? Like, who are you, dog? Like, what are you doing? She making you do all of this?
Oh man.
Like you about to be this dude?
Like the first time your crazy scared me? Man, it was.
Well, my crazy scared you and you stayed.
I don't remember what we had the argument over, but you were just like, hey, like, I ain't even gotta do all this.
I said that?
Yeah, and something to that effect. And I was like, all right, then, like, whatever, you can just, like, we don't have to talk no more. And you were like, fine. And I was like, fine. And then we just didn't talk for a little bit. Some time passed and I reached back out to you.
Oh, no.
I reached back out to you. And I don't know what made me do it. And I had to sit on it for a little bit. But I reached back out. And that is the first time I've ever done that in my life.
Whoa, what did I do? I don't even remember that. I don't remember any of this.
So many tickets on the dashboard, I can't remember.
I remember us like going through like spats in the beginning when we just wouldn't talk for a while, but we'll always end up talking again.
You do little petty stuff like if I had to cancel on you or something, you'll make yourself like real unavailable.
Oh yeah.
And then I ask you straight up, like, you ignore me? Like, no.
But it wasn't that I was ignoring you. I didn't want to hang out with you.
I get it now.
Yeah. We hadn't really established anything, and I wasn't trying to establish anything until we had that conversation about me wanting to establish something.
Man, I couldn't read any of that at the time. I'm
sure, because I'm lovey-dovey all the time. Like, I can be lovey-dovey with you for a day and think nothing of it, because that's just my personality.
Yeah.
Like, it's not connected to the emotional side of me. We can go on an amazing date, and I'll never talk to you again. Like, not because I hate you, but it's just like, it was fun for the moment. You know what I mean?
I'm kind of like that too.
But that's why we worked. Yeah. And that's why we were able to kind of do the whole situationship for so long. Because it was a year. And it, like,
that's a long situationship to you?
Yeah, I think, for it to be a situationship before the conversation comes up for a year.
Like what are we conversation?
Yeah.
That lasted longer than I thought it would.
Yeah, me too.
You saying all of this and me realizing the difference in the way I pick up on what you say now versus the way I picked up on what you said back then.
Because you compared me to what you had always heard. You didn't know me to be any different.
That and the relationship matured and I learned a lot. But that's the scary thing about holding single dudes like married dude standards.
Yeah, that's true.
Because
I realize that now.
Yeah, it's a different understanding.
Yeah.
Like you function completely different. Earlier, I said that I thought the hardest part would be other women.
Yeah.
And the hardest part is actually like boundaries. Because we share so much of our lives and we're two independent people that now we're at this point where like, oh, we got a lot of shared stuff, but what's yours and what's mine?
That's so important to do.
Absolutely.
If you're married or you're thinking about getting married, try to establish those boundaries in the beginning. Like, the only reason why we're doing it is because our therapist told us to do it, and once we did it, we're like, oh, yeah,
it feels good.
Yeah, we probably should have been doing that from the beginning.
Yeah.
There's another thing about marriage that like people don't tell you. They tell you about the wedding, and they tell you about what the 10-year anniversary feels like, and the 25-year anniversary.
Y'all gonna have some hard conversations.
Ooh.
That's very helpful. What's more helpful is saying, you know, one day you all are gonna be in your kitchen, and one of you all is gonna look at the other one and say, I don't like the way you make me feel when you use the words that you use. And it's going to make the other person feel a kind of way, and they may get defensive. They will get defensive, and then y'all gotta talk that out.
Yep, it's gonna be a fight
because both people got hurt feelings. Yep. And both people are defensive, and it's going to take several conversations to chip away at a resolution.
Intentional conversations, not conversations by chance. You have to get to that place. You have to have the conflict, and then you both have to be like, you know what? I may not get anything that I want out of this, but we're going to work through it.
Yep.
And you don't know what the outcome is going to be.
Nope.
You might actually have to give everything. And that's just going to be life.
And you know what? It's not as simple. At least, again, this is for us. You know, we can't speak for all married couples. If you come here to this channel, you're here for our perspective. So this is just us in the way that we view the world or the way that we view marriage. But like, even in that, like, it doesn't, even in that moment when you say, hey, let's pause this conversation, you know, if it gets too heated, at least that's our thing. Like when the first conversation, depending on how it goes, is going to be an eruption. Yeah. Because there's a lot of feelings.
Yeah, that's always how it happens.
Yeah, that haven't been talked out. Yep. Somebody's been sitting on them joints. And not because they're mad at the other person, but you're sitting on them because you want to make sure that when you say what you have to say, that you're saying it in a way that one, the other person can understand, and two, in a way that makes you feel like you got your shit off. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So that's you
preaching, okay?
Because that's but the argument is just as much of the way you solve arguments. That is going to be as important in your relationship as the love that you have.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
Because you can love the other person, but if y'all can't solve problems, it's going to be a tough road.
And I think, make no mistake, there are arguments in every marriage. Because I think a lot of times people might look at relationships as being successful because they don't argue, and then they get into the marriage, and then they have the first argument, and they're what?
It's complete and total meltdown, and that is not what you want.
And what you have to remember, and I think one thing that we try to remember in our marriage, is that an argument isn't necessarily an attack against the person. It's a conflict about the way that you guys view a certain situation.
Oh, that's better. I was going to say it's the means to attacking the problem, but
because the thing is, sometimes it's not always an attack of the problem. It's just like a totally different perspective about something that is happening in the relationship,
and they're both crashing into one another, trying to get a resolution.
And like that is not a problem in a relationship or in a marriage, specifically in a marriage, because it's like we're not always going to have the same perspective about things, and that's honestly what attracted me to you in the first place.
Us not having the same perspective.
Yeah, like I just feel like you, like it's kind of like you make me think about things I wouldn't normally think about, and like you kind of like elevate me in the same way that I personally feel like I elevate you. And we talk about this often, and I think it's just like I have a certain realm of understanding, and I don't have the lived experience to tap into yours. But because we're married, I have the benefit of being able to have that perspective without having lived it, and respecting it and taking it in and considering it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's helped stretch me too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That's what I think that's the foundation of our relationship. I think that's the reason why we got together. I think like we have the same like long-term goals, but the way that we got here and the way that we're working to get there are completely different. And
yeah, you're right.
We want to help people. We want to be in a position to help the masses. Like whether it's me, like I talk about my teaching and like being in the classroom. Like I swear, if I just had better leadership, I would still be there. And you and your background, how you even got to the place of wanting to do mental health. We align on like the mark we want to leave on this world. I know that's such a general statement, but that's really what it is. Like we're aligned.
We do. The way I see it, like the outermost shell, like of what y'all are aligned with, kind of keeps things in when stuff goes crazy.
Yeah.
Who you are as a partner has more to do with the way your mama loved you than it has to do with what happened in your last relationship sometimes. So like we're also raised on a similar kind of love. This is, but like, you know, this is my lane, and I feel terrible because I feel like little boys aren't really taught love in a way that makes sense, especially like teenage boys. Is more so sex. It's not even sexuality, it's just sex. And I feel like a lot of little girls aren't told the truth. And it's just weird. I'm not gonna say weird, but
that's accurate.
It's scary because they grow into women who say things like, I want to manifest the man that I want. And I always ask, like, what does that mean? Are you putting together a person based on your ideals? Because there's a chance that if the person who's right for you hasn't, like, y'all haven't grown into the space where you can see that, you would completely ignore that person because that's not how you manifest it. I'm not trying to disrupt what you think. I'm not trying to disrupt what you believe. I just want you to see something different so that you can make a choice on whether or not the way you see love actually works for you. We've been lied to. It's not necessarily true, and that's okay. But what we gotta do is we gotta be honest when it comes to stuff like this. Talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Man. When we beef in the house, it's not like we just beef and everything's fine. We still gotta deal with booby. We still got a business that we run together. We still gotta live in each other's space. That's why I'm not trying to hear no shit about love. Cause the love don't keep that going. There has to be more. There has to be more. There has to be more. Not to undermine love, but it ain't enough.
It's not.
It ain't enough.
What's the more with me?
Ooh.
Give me my life. Let me interview somebody. Okay. You see how I did that?
Give me a second. You jive like Okay.
I could talk to this man forever.
We can talk. That is our outermost shell.
We talk too much, but it's just.
Have you ever dated a dude that you can converse with like me?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
We did this on our first date, and he always makes fun of me because I told one of my girlfriends, like, this guy's gonna ruin my life. But let me tell you why. Because we do this all the time. This is every day. Like, we get into these moments where we just, okay, I see your hand in your face. Just correct me if I'm wrong. Don't we vibe?
Yes.
Oh, it's just like a vibe that we have, and it's been as strong and as deep as it was since the first time we did it. And it's annoying because it's like, we don't even like each other sometimes, but it's just this like.
Do you feel like I like you this week?
Yes.
Do you feel like I liked you last week?
No. It's okay. This is the thing. There was some weeks where we didn't like. No, I liked you more than you disliked me. I was ready to like you.
You liked me more than I dislike you.
Like you were still in your bag a little bit, and I wasn't, but I was understanding.
Nah, you were still you were more in your bag the week before.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was completely in my bag.
The bags, man.
Yeah. We don't like. There's some weeks where we really don't like each other, and we don't even care.
But we
gonna do what we gotta do.
But it's fine. Like
that's the thing. We always love each other.
Like no,
we always love each other.
What relationship do you have when you like the person every day? You say, go spend 8 months with your mama.
Ooh, don't do that. 8 months, a weekend.
Yeah, exactly. There's nobody, and she had you.
Yeah.
She
not gonna like you either.
Your funny shaped head and all. People aren't designed to be on the same like wavelength like that
all the time.
That's why the concept of marriage does not make sense to me.
But
for that reason.
But it would make sense if that's put into the concept. Like to me, when I look at marriage, it's like I'm not gonna like you all the time, but I'm always gonna love you. I'm always gonna want the best for you. It's gonna be one of them things where it's just like I'm up, his alarm didn't go off, and I know he got a meeting at 9. I'm like, I'm not gonna wake him up. Love is like, I'm gonna kick you to wake you up, but I'm not gonna do nothing else for you. I'm not gonna make you no breakfast. I'm not gonna lay it, but I'm like, yo, you got a meeting in like 45 minutes. And then I won't talk to him for the rest of the day.
I planned our whole birthday party.
He wasn't talking to me. He wasn't talking to me at all.
We didn't even have to play it off because like, we didn't have a reason to talk. Like our parenthood style, we've got it to the point where we kind of seamless with it. Like,
we don't have to talk to each other to do stuff.
We know when dinner needs to be done. You're not going to do it. All right, cool. I'm put in the oven. Oh, bedtime routine. We got that. But like the ha ha he he, want none of that.
Nah.
I want to try and hit none of that. And I think it's important for you to see that a couple like us has those issues because every couple you've ever seen in your entire life, including your sweet grandma and your sweet grandpa, had the same issues, if not far worse.
But that is what marriage is.
Yeah.
Marriage is being able to push through those moments. Like those moments are gonna happen. Like silent treatment is not like the best way to deal with stuff, but we found a way to be able to do it but still be respectful. Like I'm not gonna not ignore that you're here, but you're gonna know that I don't want to talk to you right now, and it's up to you to respect that or not.
Silent treatment gets a bad rap. Silent treatment is effective if and only if you make it clear to that person that you need time to sit on what you thinking.
Process, and you're not in the mood to kiki. But you have to make that clear.
You got to make that clear,
before you do it.
or else you're weaponizing your silence.
Exactly, and that's not okay.
And somebody just heard it like, "Ooh, I did that." Like, yeah, you did.
We all do
and it's cool. Yeah.
We all do it
know.
until we know better.
Yeah,
now
you
that
didn't
we know better, we know that like you don't have to talk to somebody if you don't want to talk to them, but you do need to let them know like, hey, like I'm feeling some type of way about XYZ that happened. I'm not in the mood to talk about it. I just need some time to sit with my feelings, and we will get to it.
So much of marriage and like long-term relationships are predicated on a person's response to hearing words that don't make them feel good. The way you respond to people's criticisms of you or people's like explaining to you that you've done things to harm them is really going to dictate the way a lot of your relationships go. A lot of people think because I handled this the best way that I could, that I handled it well. And those are two completely different things.
Right.
Not to take away from the fact that someone did the best that they could to not haul off and punch someone in the face in a bad situation. But we also have to acknowledge the fact that, you know, that you didn't, you could have done a lot of things differently. Because it's easy to be like, my ex did this and and this and that, and you do this, and you do this. Like that other person has a list just the same size, in their pocket. Those things are hard to accept, especially if it's your first time hearing it. It's easy to be like, nah, they just saying that because like, no, it's probably some truth to what they're saying. And that's okay.
There's always some truth.
Yeah, it's okay. That's a great tool to figure out what's going on with you.
And I think like what you just said, and that's okay. Like people think that like personality flaws and like things that they have to work on is the end all be all. No, it's just two-step process. The first step is to acknowledge that that's you. And the second step is, okay, what are you gonna do to recognize when that's happening and try to do better? You don't have to be a completely different person. You know what I mean? Like if this is something that you've been doing your entire life, it's not gonna change naturally just because one person said it to you one time. But recognizing where the truth in that lies, understanding, okay, like when am I doing that? Or like, you know, making conscious of like when that is happening, and then deciding how you wanna deal with that. Cause if it's like a situation like you go off on people, some situations warrant that, but not all do. So as long as you can acknowledge that and like have that assessment in your head, like, okay, I'm about to go off on this, or like, you know what? It ain't even worth it. Cool, I'm gonna just go over here.
Oof, that goes back to how you take losses and how and how much of your power you're comfortable giving up. It's just different when you don't, and speaking for myself, when you don't really walk into a relationship with expectations. Like you don't walk into a situation with expectations, because I was the king of situationships before that.
You were,
So like those are different, and like when you have a situationship, the reason it works is because the expectations and the boundaries are so loose. And no one's really required to do anything, but you still get the benefits.
And that's also why it don't last.
And that's why it works until it don't. Sex wasn't even like the primary focal point of our relationship when we first met. Like not at all.
We waited to have sex.
Well, we didn't wait. It just didn't really. It didn't line up. Like
it didn't happen.
You fell asleep on me one time.
Are we gonna talk about
just
this
come
story?
over. Just come over after the party.
And we were like kissing nasty in
come
the room.
On, bro.
We was kissing. We were just kissing. And I told
all the kissing nasty.
Okay, we were kissing. We were kissing.
Damn.
And I told him to come back after the party, and I fell asleep. But I made it up to you like a couple days later.
And she was like, let's catch up the next day. It's like, nah, I'm busy.
No, it was the next day. I was coming back from the library. Yeah, you were mad at me, and I was just like, well, I'm coming back from the library.
I wasn't even mad. No, I was not mad.
You weren't mad? Oh. But I was like, you want me to come through? And I remember you saying yes, and I ran home to take a shower. I was like, I got a date! You probably weren't mad, but it came across like you were. Because,
I can see that.
Because like, I was like, so what about today? You were like, nah. I was like, what? And I remember I was at like the library, and I just had been texting you every day. And you were like, yeah, come through. And I was like, word. I'm like, I gotta go. Like I was in a study session and everything. I was like, I gotta go, guys. I gotta go.
Change your whole life up.
Changed my whole life. I remember I specifically said, like, even if things don't work out between us, like, let's kick it. Cool. Like, we should kick it, because like I fell in love with your mind. Like I just knew you would be great. And I'm like, wow, like I wanna be a part of that, not just because I thought you would be great, but you made me feel good. And you made me feel heard. Like you understood the things that I wanted to do. And I've never dated anybody that was like, wow, you wanna save the world? Okay, let's do it. And even if like things didn't work out romantically, like I thought you were dope. And like I felt like you had never heard that you were dope in the way that I told you. Because when I said it, you were like, what? Like this is just who I am? Like, has nobody told you? Like has no one ever like what?
But when you're a dude and you're dating, like it's weird. You come across women with so many different kinds of personalities, and the way that women are attracted to you, like no two women are attracted to you the same way.
That's
so there's some women who give you an abundance of compliments, and it's like, okay, all right. And then there's some women that kind of play like the hard to get a little bit and make you kind of do a little bit of the talking to get to know her more, and it's hard to tell between person to person.
So where was I in that spectrum? Like what did you think of me?
Nah, you were just different. You didn't seem possessive of me.
No,
like getting a lot of my time.
Oh no.
You were very go with the flow. The vibe felt right. You weren't trying.
I was very go with the flow.
You very go with the flow.
But I was in law school. Like I didn't have the time. Maybe if I wasn't in school, you know what I mean, and I had time.
I think that's just who you are.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I think that's just where you were in that space at least. You were Like, it seemed like you were genuinely interested in me, the person, not just like me, the relationship prospect.
For sure.
You know?
Absolutely.
I didn't feel like
Absolutely.
but I've dated women before where I felt like an accessory. Like, oh, here's the dark skinned black,
Got it.
you know, symbol of a man that's gonna like reaffirm my womanhood or whatever. Like, some people treat you like that. Like, you're just like an arm accessory kind of.
You never hear that from a man's perspective.
There's so much that you don't hear from a man's perspective.
Okay, keep going. This is good. I like this.
The sexual energy wasn't over the top. Sometimes the women that you date, like, the sexual energy just be a little bit too much. Like, it wasn't like that. It just, everything felt natural. Everything felt like it was supposed to be. The conversation felt right. It didn't feel like I had to think about things to say.
Yeah.
The intellect was in the same space. I didn't have to explain like tongue-in-cheek jokes to you. The things that we didn't have in common. Like, oh, I want to, you know.
I want to learn more about
I hate that. The main thing was the fact that we could talk.
Yeah.
And I remembered our conversations. I don't remember my conversations with everybody. I'll talk to anybody, but it's not always meaningful. And I just felt like we really vibe, man.
Yeah,
we really vibe.
We still vibe.
And
I love that about our relationship, man.
That's why when I see like, hey, what's up, y'all? Sorry the camera died abruptly. I had to recharge it just so I could do this part right here. We clearly moved on with our day. We doing other stuff. So we thinking about revisiting this conversation because I don't feel like we got it all off. But I need y'all to tell us in the comments whether or not y'all would want us to do that. All right, catch y'all later.